Okay, Pat, so how many people do we have at the Ken Carbone event?
Harvey, we have 87 already in the door, and we expect another 20 more.
Okay, so I'm here talking to Frank Peluso. Frank, you're over here at Ken Carbone's seminar. Let me ask you a question. What do you think about print being dead? What do you think?
Well, I mean, there's always going to be a place for print, but now so much has gone to either the web or to electronic media, and because it's instantaneous, it can be changed quickly. That was the biggest problem with print, is once you printed something, you had that run, and if information changes like it does constantly today, then you had to dump all these printed pieces and start all over again, which is very, very expensive. And today you can change things constantly on the web.
So you're here at Ken Carbone's seminar, and is print dead?
I don't think so. I think it's still alive and kicking. I think it's a valid medium, and even though the web is sort of taking things to another level, I think print is still alive.
Well, you work in illustration, and a lot of your work is in book covers.
Yes.
So do you do digital book covers as well?
Yes. I just did an e-book cover for a client in England. Never met him. It's going on the web. It won't be printed.
But it still has to have that look.
Yes. And I also do graphic design, so I am in sort of both worlds. But I'm also a web designer, so I'm kind of straddling the fence on all this.
That's a good position to be. So I'm talking to Al Zawada, who is the former president of the New Jersey Craftsmen's Club, which is the last organized printing club in New Jersey. Al, let me ask you a question. I mean, come on, is print dead, or is it just transmuting itself?
It's definitely in a state of transition as far as its positioning with marketing. What you have is the media titles now, social networking, mobile marketing. They're all new titles that are happening. They're all part of this transitional phase. What they're finding out is print's not dead. It's not going away. It's a very integral part of the social media campaigns for the marketing groups.
Your premise tonight is print dead.
Is print dead? Yes.
And are you basing that?
I have an answer.
You have an answer.
I do definitely have an answer.
Well, go ahead.
It's on my second slide.
Okay.
Okay.
Now this is for people
I'm
that
not
couldn't
going to give
come.
it away. I mean, you got to look at the. You got to be here for the presentation. So, but is print dead? No. I think print is alive. And since this is going to be broadcast after my presentation, I can kind of reveal a little bit of this. I think print is alive, and it's going to be complementary to everything we see in the digital space. The question is, what is the proportion going to be between print and digital? As my presentation showed, for our firm, for our company, it's definitely at this point 50-50, and it's going to edge, I'd say, significantly towards the interactive side. However, we love print. Print does something that interactive and digital side will never do. So the question is, how do you strike the balance between these two things?
Print is in a very big transition period because of the iPad and the e-books, and really print is governed by advertisers at this point. Because if they can't generate a lead for an economical way, they're going to go another direction. So do you see print revitalizing itself over the next couple of years?
I think print's going to find its place. I think it won't maybe be as, let's just say, significant in a certain way that it is now. But if you even look at the transition from when the digital space really started to come alive to now, there's still a lot of print around. And if you think of it from a publishing model, how many gazillions of books are published each year? People still, even with all the e-book readers, still feel a connection to the printed page. So I do think that there's going to be an aspect of print that's going to be with us for the foreseeable future. And I would probably bet on that it will certainly be within my lifetime that print will be a significant part of the way we get information.
Do you have any words of advice for the students coming out of the colleges today?
I would say for students, as much as we're hearing about the challenges of kind of entering the profession, definitely, if you're prepared, if your portfolio is well thought through, that you realize that design is now integrated into many different parts of culture and society. It doesn't have to be an advertising agency, a design firm. It certainly can be within a corporation, or certainly there are many opportunities to have a business for yourself. I mean, there are so many design firms that are born every day. I turn around and I see great work done by someone from Kalamazoo, Michigan that I've never heard of, and I actually envy what they're doing. So I think that, to a certain degree, that the world of design has had actually widened, because there are many different types of design you can enter. And I'm talking within graphic design, and at the same time, the traditional paths of going to a big agency or a large design firm are not necessarily the best paths to take these days.
Thank you for coming. I really appreciate the support for our Directors Club of New Jersey. This is our second installment in 3 that we'll have this year for ADCNJ nights. Our first one was with Pantone and was a huge success if you attended that. And we're looking forward to a wonderful night tonight. There are a couple of things that I just want to announce before we get started. First is our Thinking Creatively Conference, which is the next event coming up. And I'm just going to introduce Rose Ganella to give you a little bit of background on Thinking Creatively.
The conference this year is April 7th through 9th. We've actually added a day to the conference.
He's a blogger for FastCompanyMagazine.com. He says he can't spell, can't type, and only learned to swim after he turned 50.
Good evening, everyone. This is such a good-looking crowd. So I think we have to give Jenna a little round of applause, because it's hard to do these things. So thank you all for coming. What I'm hoping is that this is going to be a short presentation and a long conversation with all of you. So this is the burning question. Print, dead or alive? This has been asked, seems to be a question I've heard for over a decade at least. So this is the question, and I have the answer. Thank you all for coming. I think that there is not an easy answer about it being dead or alive. In fact, print is so much a part of what we need in our lives, and still have an affinity